The traffic stop that exposed a horrifying secret in the trunk true crime case that shook America. The smell in the dark. The highway was quiet that humid summer night in Essex, Maryland. Streetlights glowed pale against the black sky, the sound of tires on asphalt echoing across the near-empty road. Officer Thompson had pulled over plenty of cars before, but this one felt different. A worn-down sedan drifted between lanes before coming to a shaky stop on the shoulder. As he approached, flashlight cutting through the darkness, a faint odor hit him. It wasn't gasoline, or food, or anything mechanical. It was off. "Evening, ma'am," he said, keeping his voice calm. "License and registration." Behind the wheel sat a woman, early 30s, tired eyes, hands trembling slightly on the steering wheel. Beside her, another woman stared straight ahead, silent and uneasy. "I'm sorry, officer," the driver murmured. "I didn't realize I was speeding." Her ID read Nicole Johnson, age 33. The second passenger's name appeared only as BB, scribbled on an old document. The officer took the ID and walked back to his cruiser, running the information through the system. Nothing matched. The plates came back as fake tags, and the car itself wasn't registered anywhere. The more he looked, the stranger it became. He returned to the vehicle. "Ma'am, your license isn't valid, and this vehicle isn't registered. We'll have to tow it." Nicole's voice cracked. "Please, just let me get my things. I live in this car." He hesitated. She looked exhausted, like someone at the edge of collapse. "All right," he said. "Grab what you need, but the car's being impounded." Nicole nodded, stepped out, and walked to the back of the sedan. As she lifted the trunk, the smell returned, stronger now, thick and nauseating, rolling out like a wave. The officer's flashlight caught several large garbage bags stacked tightly inside. He froze. "Ma'am, what's in the bags?" "Just clothes," she said quickly. "Dirty clothes. Been there for months." The officer stepped closer, nose tightening. "That doesn't smell like clothes." Nicole hesitated, hand hovering over the bags. I told you, it's just laundry." Within moments, another patrol unit arrived. Officer Eric, the backup, approached. Thompson gestured subtly. "Come here. Smell that." Eric leaned in, face twisting. "Something's dead in there." They asked Nicole to step back as they shined their lights deeper into the trunk. Layers of black plastic gleamed under the beam. Flies scattered. "Open it," Thompson ordered gently. Nicole shook her head, mumbling. "Please, you don't need to." But the air was turning unbearable. Thompson pulled on gloves, gripping the edge of one bag. It was sticky, heavy. "Ma'am, I need you to open this. Now." "I told you, it's nothing. Just blankets." The flashlight beam trembled in his hand. Plastic crinkled. Beneath the first layer lay another, and another. Sweat dripped down his neck as the smell deepened. "Keep going," Eric muttered. "We have to see what's inside." Nicole backed away, whispering to herself. I can't. The officers worked through each bag, their breathing tight, the night closing in. The final layer revealed a black suitcase. Its zipper was stiff, coated with dirt. "Open the suitcase," said Thompson, voice low. Nicole's face paled. "Please don't. Please." He looked at her, then at the suitcase. Slowly, he pulled the zipper. A single moment of silence, and then a sound like the air leaving the world itself. "Jesus Christ," Eric gasped, stumbling back. "Oh God." Thompson slammed the trunk shut, his eyes wide, chest heaving. He turned to Nicole. "Ma'am, turn around. Hands behind your back." She collapsed to her knees, sobbing. "It's not what you think. I didn't mean." But her words faded beneath the chaos, the radio calls, the flashing lights, the officers gagging from the smell. That night, a simple traffic stop in Maryland became one of the most disturbing discoveries in U.S. police history. And it was only the beginning. The woman in the interrogation room. Rain began to fall outside the Baltimore County precinct as the night deepened. The two women from the traffic stop sat in separate rooms, white walls, bright lights, cameras rolling. Nicole Johnson, still wearing the same faded t-shirt from earlier, stared at her cuffed hands. Across the hall, BB sat quietly, confusion written across her face, mumbling prayers to herself. Detective Harris entered the room with a folder thick with notes and photos. He didn't sit right away. Instead, he let the silence weigh heavy between them, the kind that made truth feel like an unavoidable storm. "Nicole," he said finally, his tone steady but cold, "we need to talk about what was in the trunk." Nicole looked up, eyes red, voice cracking. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." "What exactly is it that happened?" Harris asked. "Start there." She inhaled sharply. "I don't know. I've been staying in hotels, sleeping in my car. I didn't even know it was that bad." "The smell didn't bother you?" he pressed. She shook her head slowly. "We thought it was a dead rat under the hood. We even got the car power washed." The detective exchanged a glance with his partner, Detective Yates, who was watching through the mirrored glass. The two had seen plenty, but something about Nicole's calmness unsettled them more than anger ever could. "You say we," Harris continued. "Who's we?" "Me and my friend, BB. She didn't do anything, I swear. She didn't even know." Harris flipped a photo onto the table, a picture from the scene, blurred for record-keeping but unmistakable. "You know we found two separate containers, right?" Nicole froze. "One suitcase. One plastic bin," he said. "Two separate victims." Her mouth opened, but no words came out. The detective leaned closer. "Nicole, those children weren't strangers. They weren't random. Who were they?" Nicole's eyes glistened. "They were my sister's kids." The room fell silent except for the hum of the fluorescent lights. Outside, the rain hit the glass harder. "Your sister left them with you," Harris said quietly. "You were their guardian." Nicole nodded, tears sliding down her face. "She couldn't take care of them. I tried. I really tried." He studied her expression, guilt, exhaustion, and something else, resignation. "Then help me understand. How do two kids end up in your trunk for months?" Nicole's breathing quickened. She looked at the floor. "It was an accident. The girl, she wouldn't stop crying. I lost it. I didn't mean to hurt her." Her voice trembled as she spoke. "It was over something small. Food, maybe. She took something from the fridge. I hit her, not hard at first. But she fell. She hit the floor. After that, she just didn't move." The detective's pen stopped moving. "She was gone," Nicole whispered. "I tried pressing on her chest. I tried to wake her up. Nothing." The confession hung in the air, cold and still. "What did you do next?" Harris asked. "I panicked," she said. "I didn't know what to do. I wrapped her in a blanket and put her in the suitcase. I thought I'd figure it out later." The detective sat back, rubbing his temples. "Later turned into more than a year." Nicole nodded slowly. "I couldn't let her go. I kept moving from place to place. Then the boy, he got sick. He was always tired, and one day he fell and started bleeding from his leg. I thought he'd be okay. He asked me to lay him down. When I came back, he wasn't breathing either." The room went silent again. Even the hum of the air conditioner seemed to fade away. Outside, a storm rumbled in the distance. Detective Harris exhaled, lowering his pen. "So both of them, in that car. 4 months." Nicole's voice was barely a whisper. "I didn't know what else to do. Nobody helped me. I was trying to survive. He stood up slowly. You weren't surviving, Nicole. You were driving around with two lost children who never got a chance to be found. Through the glass, Detective Yates turned away. The case had gone from shocking to unbearable. Back in her cell, Nicole began muttering under her breath, her words fractured and scattered. I just wanted things to be better. I just wanted the noise to stop. In the adjoining room, BB kept asking the same question over and over. Am I going home? Did we do something wrong? When Harris walked past her cell, she looked up with tears in her eyes. She didn't mean it, BB whispered. She kept saying tomorrow would be better. That night, as the precinct lights flickered and the storm outside finally broke, the detectives realized this was more than a case of neglect. It was a tragedy buried under years of silence, desperation, and denial. And the most devastating discovery was still waiting to be found, the hidden truth beneath the surface. Morning light crept over the Baltimore County precinct, washing the gray walls in a dull, pale glow. The storm from the night before had passed, leaving a cold stillness in its wake. Inside the interview room, Nicole sat motionless, her eyes distant, her voice flat. The detectives had already heard the words they dreaded most, but there was still one unanswered question: why? Detective Harris re-entered the room with a new folder, this one filled with photos from the forensic team. He placed it on the table but didn't open it. Nicole, he began softly, there's something we need to clarify. You told us one child, but there were two. How long were both in that car? Nicole didn't look up. Since May. Maybe longer. I lost track. The detective leaned forward. You said the girl's death was an accident. What about the boy? Tears pooled in Nicole's eyes. It wasn't supposed to happen. He wasn't supposed to go too. Her voice shook. He got sick after she was gone. He wouldn't eat, wouldn't talk. I thought he'd get better. But one night, he said, can you lay me down? She covered her face with her hands. When I came back, he wasn't breathing either. The words hung heavy in the air, the kind that drained the room of oxygen. Detective Harris closed the folder quietly. And you put him in the trunk too. I didn't want to let them go, she whispered. I didn't know how. Across the hall, officers reviewed photos from the discovery. The black suitcase. The plastic storage bin. The small shoes and toys that had once belonged to children who'd never been reported missing. Officer Yates muttered under his breath, how does no one look for two kids? Not a neighbor, not a school, not even a doctor. The lead investigator sighed. They were invisible before they even died. Forensic reports confirmed that the children, a girl, 7, and a boy, 5, were malnourished. Their bodies were badly decomposed, wrapped in plastic and blankets. They had likely been dead for over a year. No signs of official missing person reports. No medical records. No schooling. It was as if the world had forgotten they existed, until a broken taillight forced their story into the light. Later that afternoon, Nicole's sister arrived at the station, pale, shaking, clutching a phone. She was the children's mother. Her voice cracked as she spoke to detectives through tears. I left them with her because I couldn't take care of them, she sobbed. She promised she would. The detectives exchanged uneasy glances. The mother's name appeared on multiple welfare reports, but none had ever been followed up properly. Harris asked gently, when was the last time you spoke to your children? Her hands trembled. Last year, she kept making excuses. Said they were sleeping, or sick, or playing outside. The detective nodded slowly. Nicole blocked your calls. Her face went white. I thought she was protecting them from me. I didn't know. As the day went on, Nicole's tone changed. She stopped crying. Her eyes hardened, her words cold. Everyone wants to blame me, she said. But where were they when I needed help? When I was sleeping in that car, when nobody cared? Harris kept his voice calm. Needing help doesn't mean you get to hide bodies in a trunk. I didn't hide them, she snapped. I kept them. Because they were mine to take care of. The detective stared at her, speechless. Somewhere between guilt and madness, Nicole Johnson had built her own twisted logic, one where love and control had become the same thing. Weeks later, the story spread across the country. Headlines called it the Maryland trunk case. Commentators on talk shows debated how no one had noticed. Parents online wept, others raged. In court, prosecutors described the scene with restraint, because there were no words that could capture it. Nicole sat expressionless as the charges were read aloud. 2 counts of first-degree child abuse resulting in death. Multiple counts of neglect, concealment, and unauthorized disposal. When asked if she wished to speak, she simply said, "I just wanted them close." The courtroom fell silent. The judge's sentence was swift and final, life imprisonment, with all but 50 years suspended. As she was led away, she looked at no one. Not her lawyer, not her family, not even the reporters. Outside, rain began again, soft this time, almost gentle, as though the sky itself wanted to wash away the memory of what had been found in that trunk. Detective Harris later said in a statement, "We didn't just find evidence that night. We found the truth that no one wanted to believe, that sometimes, monsters don't come from the shadows. They come from the people we trust the most." Outro, for YouTube voiceover style. This case remains one of the most disturbing reminders of what can happen when neglect turns into tragedy. If you found this story compelling, remember to subscribe, share, and turn on notifications. More real cases like this are coming soon. Every truth we uncover brings us one step closer to justice.